This is a place.
This is the place?
This is a place. We want to talk about. This is a place.
Thank you for listening to This is a Place podcast. My name is Brandon, and I'm here with a guy who picked the absolute worst year to start a podcast. Nate.
I picked the worst year, or is it the best year? Because I do know that Amazon had quite an uptick of sales in the podcast department for 2020. So we weren't the only ones to start a podcast in 2020. I think a lot of people had time on their hands. But truth be told, we had this idea back in 2019, right?
And we waited till a pandemic to start it. Actually, we started before the pandemic hit, in all fairness. But now we're in a market where everybody else is doing a podcast, so there's just too many to listen to. That's why it's the worst. And people don't commute as much. A lot of people working from home, so there's not as much of that commute listening.
But there's only so much Netflix you can watch right before you want to change the pace and listen to a podcast.
How was your Christmas?
Christmas was actually pretty good. Normally, we get up and do the whole family Christmas stuff, open presents, whatnot, and then we usually head over to my mom's house and spend Christmas Day with all the cousins and what have you. But it was interesting this year to not go anywhere. Our tradition for Christmas Eve is to go to Denny's. So we still made it out to Denny's on Christmas Eve.
So why is going to Denny's your Christmas tradition? Well, Christmas Eve tradition.
Denny's actually started just a few years ago, maybe 5-6 years ago. But how it all started was we never planned to go to a restaurant on Christmas Eve, but it was, goodness gracious, 8+ years ago. My brother lives in Lehigh, and he was having Christmas Eve at his house. So we were getting ready to go over there, planning to have dinner at his house and open presents and whatnot. And there was a huge snowstorm. It might have been that same snowstorm you were talking about on our last episode. Maybe not. There was a big snowstorm, and my mom or sister called and said, "Hey, don't even bother coming out here. It's the roads are too bad. We're still hungry." And we drove around looking for something that was open. And the one place that was open was Carl's Jr. But the following years, Carl's Jr. stopped opening on Christmas Eve. And then watching the movie Santa Claus with Tim Allen.
Yes.
We're like, oh yeah.
That was what I was hoping for.
We're like, oh yeah, Denny's is always going to be open. So switch from Carl's Jr. to Denny's. So it's going to always be Denny's moving forward because we don't have to rely on whether or not they're going to be open or not. We always know they're going to be open. What tradition do you have?
We always do a prime rib dinner at my grandma's house the Sunday before Christmas.
Okay.
So whenever that falls. And this year they canceled it. So instead every family got their own prime rib or whatever. And we just did it at my parents' house instead. We call it Pajama Sunday because we also get to open up a present of pajamas.
Your Christmas jammies.
Mm-hmm. So that's a fun one.
So what tradition does your wife's family have?
They've got, I think normally they go to Temple Square on Christmas Eve. And it's funny, I hope it's okay that I share this, but my father-in-law was talking about how that tradition started because he thought it came from his family, the family before his father's family started the tradition. And he asked his dad, he's like, why did you start this tradition? Like, how did it begin? It actually was because we would just take you to Temple Square and you would run around with all your energy and get really tired and then go home and go to sleep on Christmas Eve earlier.
So it started with his own dad, not his grandparents or anything like that. But
Yeah. Just was a convenient way to get the kids tired. And that seems to be a good way to go about it. I follow this really funny dad page on Instagram, and he said, "All right, kids, time for our traditional Christmas Eve Benadryl."
or punch, right? Yeah, my one that's always been different from all my other friends, with my own family growing up, with my siblings, is any present that's already under the tree from family, friends, what have you, we open up on Christmas Eve. And then
Oh.
Santa brings your Santa gift on Christmas. So Christmas Day, grew up
Christmas
okay.
Day was good. Santa brought a kitchen for our daughter, and the lazy punk didn't put it together, so that left my wife and I to do that. And I should have read the Amazon reviews. I should have listened to the friend who recommended I get the kitchen, because that's where he first learned about it, because he had it set up and my daughter was having fun playing with it. But I didn't listen. So 10:30 to 3:30, we put up the kitchen.
On Christmas Eve.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Lesson learned.
I've been there, done that.
Yeah, I've been there. Never doing that again.
Well, should we chat about 2020 a little bit?
Oh, man.
But before we do,
Okay.
I have to apologize. A sincere apology. Was it
Floor is
last week?
yours.
What's that?
The floor is yours.
The floor is mine. So last week we were talking about the bells at the cathedral, right?
At Notre Dame.
At Notre Dame. And we were talking about songs, joking about songs. And I was going between two bands, and I brought up the title of the song, For Whom the Bells Tolls. And one of our fans called me out, I should say. But you too, Brandon, you should have corrected me at the very
Hold on.
mention of it.
You didn't make a mention of what song you're referencing.
I said, or the AC/DC song, For Whom the Bells Tolls, right?
Oh.
Because I was going to say, because I think that's why I was going to say Hell's Bells by AC/DC. That was in my mind. Yeah. And that's why I didn't say it. And then I said AC/DC, when in fact I should have said For Whom the Bells Tolls by the Bee Gees. So I apologize to all the Bee Gees fans out there that I called their song played by AC/DC and not the Bee Gees.
So yes, Nate, you should be ashamed that you got that wrong.
Everybody knows it's by the Bee Gees. And I believe there's another band who may have something similar to that, but I can't remember who they are.
I wouldn't even care who it was if I knew.
Because the Bee Gees are all that matters.
Yeah.
I love the Bee Gees. I love Bee Gees. I love ABBA. I love all that type of stuff.
Dude, Bee Gees are classic. So is ABBA.
So let's talk about 2020. We're at the end of the year. It's time to forget about this last year, 2020, and look forward to 2021. But before we make our resolutions, let's talk about what happened in Utah in 2020. It was a wild ride.
Year. Yeah.
Very eventful. We all knew there was this virus in China, right? And people were a little concerned about it. But
you listen back to our Belgian Waffle House episode, we were joking about the virus.
But on my anniversary, my wedding anniversary, all the crap hit the fan when Rudy Gobert,
Stifle Tower,
tests positive for the COVID virus. And I feel like that was kind of what's the word I'm looking for? But
That's when it got real.
The momentum shifted, right? And that's when crap got real.
He tested positive after doing this to everybody's microphones.
I
Can't forget
just
that part.
I just remember. So it really is my wife and I's anniversary, March 11th, when that all came, but that news popped. But we were sitting at the Mexican Salsa, which we should do a episode on that one too, the Mexican restaurant in South Jordan.
Let's do it.
And I'm looking at the TV. I'm like, oh, like why is everybody leaving the building? Because I couldn't hear what was going on, and because of Jazz, I think, because they played tonight. Oklahoman, right? Is who they were playing.
Oh yeah.
And they played them tonight and won barely. But yeah, that just seemed to be like the moment that COVID got real in the United States. And it's kind of interesting that it was a Utah Jazz player who kind of got that ball rolling down the hill. Wouldn't you say?
I would say so.
Because things got real after that. And then, like you just mentioned, to shake things up even further, a couple of days later,
The earth shook things up.
Earth shook. Yeah.
Big
So-
big earthquake here in Utah.
Was that your first experience with an earthquake?
Yep.
It's very interesting because we had the beginning of COVID, we have an earthquake, and so my kids are all asking 1,000 questions, about COVID and the earthquake, and I'm just like, first time me, first time you. I don't know. This never happened before.
And then
So,
after that,
exciting.
What else happened? I mean, there was all the protests and all the unrest and the presidential election.
It's been interesting. It's been an interesting year just because it seems to be crazy at the same time pretty chill. You know what I mean? Because you can't go out and do a whole lot of stuff. Most unique year ever going to Lagoon. It's been weird not being able to go to football games at the same time. It's been great because I am a BYU season ticket holder, and sometimes it can be almost tough.
It's a
to try
chore.
to get to. It's a chore. That's the word I'm looking for. It's a chore to go to every game. So this year, not having to go to every game was kind of relaxing, and not feeling guilty that you're watching it on TV instead of being at the game.
At least for the podcast sake, is that we were able to still get out and do some fun stuff.
And maybe that's why this year hasn't been so bad, because it's been fun doing things that I probably wouldn't have done not doing the podcast, right?
Kind of forced us to go places we normally wouldn't. Forced us to go out of our comfort zone and try new things, and got out even sometimes we didn't want to. Maybe we didn't want to go visit a place and whatever, but we did it.
We set goals and we met those goals.
Yes.
Yeah, there's plenty. And yeah, I mean, I've said before, but pleasantly surprised at some of the locations we gone to. One being the Peace Gardens, having driven by there 1,000 times in my lifetime and not even knowing they're there. And then the Gilgal Gardens, never would have known about that either if it weren't for this podcast. And there's a bunch of other places that I know we plan to go to that I've never gone to living here in Utah, just because you always say you want to, but you just never make the time to go.
We've had a little moment of being stars when we talked about, on a whim, mind you, we noticed early on that anytime we did something, the news outlets picked up pretty quickly afterwards. But we highlighted Raging Waters, and everybody started talking about it after that. So we kind of took advantage of the moment, but we got in there first.
Yeah, that was kind of behind the scenes. We were doing our episode on Market Square, right? MPS store. And then we're like, hey, we're so close to Raging Waters, maybe we should go over and take some pictures there and do that for the following week episode, right?
Yeah.
And then what happened like a week later? A couple of news outlets did some
Fox
reports
is there,
on
KSL, they're all doing Raging Waters.
So Raging Waters was by far our most downloaded episode of this year, right?
I'll say this, that we do, all the episodes we do are fun in their own way. And we mix it up. We do restaurants, we do nature things. but consistently the fun stuff, like look at our TEP episodes. Raging Waters, the Fun Dome, definitely in second place. Classic Skating, a far behind third place.
Excuse me, I'm looking right now, but Classic Skating was our number 2 episode.
Okay, fine, whatever. You're
And
looking at a
49th
different
Street
metric than
Galleria.
I am.
49th Street Galleria is a close third.
Probably by
But-
like one listen. But the
Well,
point is,
they've been going back and forth the whole year, right?
yeah. The point is to look at it. If you look at our episodes, the top ones are those fun places. But I think the point is we need to do more fun stuff. So 2021, what I'm thinking is we're going to have to do Hollywood Connection.
Yeah, we've had that on the back burner for a while now. So definitely Hollywood.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a big one. We got to do a trampoline park eventually.
Question is which one? There's so many now.
Like what other fun things? Eventually the Rush Funplex is going to be opening at Jordan Landing. So
Oh yeah.
I'm thinking we got to get in the door with them and be like, "Hey, we got you guys. Give us the grand opening tour and we got you. Free publicity." We got to go to Evermore, back to Lagoon, more Lagoon content. Got to get the people what they want.
We have to go to Classic Skating since we haven't been there for years.
Oh yeah,
Still open,
remember when we just talked about places and didn't even visit them? And hopefully people start commuting more to work and start listening to us more. Or turning off that Netflix since The Office is leaving Netflix anyway. So there's no point in sticking around.
Friends has left. The Office has left. All you really have now is Cobra Kai. And once you're done watching that, what else are you going to do? Aside of the cool places that we've visited, I think it's been awesome for all the people we've met.
Yes.
All the guests we've had on. It's been really cool to get to know some cool people here in Utah and cool stuff that they do here in Utah.
Yeah, we have met some really great
and
people.
We have some people lined up for next year that are also cool. So
very cool.
It's gonna be a fun year, 2021.
You might be hearing from a local Utah celebrity that's big in Vegas and used to have a TV show with his sister.
I don't know who you're talking about.
Donny Osmond, man.
I'm kidding.
We're getting Donny Osmond to come on the show.
Oh, are we?
I just barely thought of that. I don't even know. Seems like a cool guy. Maybe he'll come on our podcast. That's the goal. We're going to get Donny Osmond on. How about we get some David Archuleta too?
Carmelone wants to thank all his family and friends for listening.
I think we should have John
podcast.
Stockton. He seems like a real nice guy.
John?
Is
he still here in Utah?
I'm just kidding. He seems like he'd do something like this.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. He was very
Maybe we'll get Donovan Mitchell to come on.
Donovan Mitchell.
Who knows?
Rudy Gobert.
Yeah.
We could have like Neon Trees or Imagine Dragons. And we are always willing to try out any of your restaurants. Just give us a holler. Yeah.
Maybe we'll get some merch actually in 2021.
Yeah. I told you that's what my wife got for Christmas, right? The ability to print vinyl so we can make our own shirts again.
We're going to make our own shirts now. So just the 2 that we have and haven't washed in 6 months.
And we used the wrong vinyl to begin with.
2021 is going to be a good year. Is the coronavirus going to suddenly disappear when clock strikes midnight, January 1st? No, it's not. But
but it is fun to imagine. A lot of people, I think, in the back of their mind think that 2021, as soon as it comes, that all our problems are solved, right?
Yeah, I don't buy it.
And they're going to be very disappointed when they wake up January 1st.
But maybe they'll wake up to another $600 in their bank account. But that's about as good as it's going to get.
Well, if you're married and have kids, it's going to be more.
Keep listening. It is going to be the best year ever. 2020 ain't got nothing on 2021. As you stay here with us and listen to This is a Place podcast.
See you next year.